Welcome everyone to our latest presentation here on Assistive Touch. This presentation was done by Aaron Spelker as he goes over JAWS for Windows and navigations. Thank you so much.
As you will see, this is
Man,
going to be a web form, and a web form has many different types of what are called form fields. These are different ways that you interact to input information. So a very standard one that I'm sure everyone knows is what is called an edit box. This is where you would type in things like your first name or your last name or your address. Another choice called a radio button. The way to think about a radio button is if you think of old school, an old radio where you have a dial, you can only tune into one station at a time. So a radio button is where you are making a selection, but you can only choose one of the choices. So, maybe it's male or female. There's only two choices, let's just say, and you can pick male. And if you pick that, then female is unchecked. If you switch to female, then male is unchecked, et cetera, et cetera. If there's a third category of other, if you selected that, then both female and male would be unchecked. So a radio button only allows you to pick one of the available choices. Then you have a thing called a checkbox. A checkbox is a list of choices, and you would press spacebar to check and uncheck those checkboxes. So, for example, if you were filling out a medical form and they said, which of these ailments do you have? Do you have back pain? Do you have knee pain? Do you have diabetes? Do you have glaucoma? Whatever the things are, you might have more than one of those things. So you press spacebar and check each one that applies. So that's called a checkbox. You then have what is called a combo box. A combo box is where there is a predetermined list and you are going to choose something from that list. So for example, if you were filling out your address and you got to the states, it might be a combo box where you can choose Alabama, Arkansas, Alaska, and arrow down to Massachusetts, and then ultimately select Massachusetts if that's where you're from. So those are called combo boxes, where it's a predetermined list and you choose from it. And then the final one is what is called a button, which is something that you press, which takes an action. So there might be a submit button or a next button or a pause button. A button takes some sort of action, and usually the label of the button tells you what it will do. So this web form that we are going to engage with has all of those different options. Now, we are at the top of this web form, and there is a form field that is a little bit further down the page. And what I want to show you is a couple different ways that we can get there. So the long way is we could arrow. So if I arrow about 6 times, we will finally get to the form field where it will be asking us to input our first name. So
full speech.
let's just do it the long way first. Oh, it's not talking now.
Task switching. The WebTrack sample call tracking system in 5 more pages. The WebTrack sample heading level 1. The WebTrack sample form.
So there's one.
Online customer tracking system.
Down arrow again. Then number 2.
Group star contact information.
Keep going.
First star. First name. This is a required field.
Okay, and
Jones iPad 4 has joined the meeting.
you can see that it took me 5 or 6 down arrows to finally get to our first name. Now, if I was a service rep for this company and I deal with this web form every single day, I do not want to arrow down 6 times to get to that field. You can use your quick keys when you are on the internet to navigate to any of these form fields individually or kind of in a group. So let me jump to the top again.
The WebTrack sample call tracking system.
So each of the form fields that I mentioned, an edit box, radio button, combo box, checkbox button, each have their own key that will allow you to jump to those. So if you want to jump to an edit box, it is the letter E. If you want to jump to a combo box, it's a letter C. If you want to jump to a button, it's letter B. If you want to jump to a radio button, it's letter A. Why is it letter A? Because R is already used to jump to a region, so you can't use R. So they pick the next letter in the alphabet or in the word radio, which would be A. So that's why a radio button is the letter A. And then a checkbox is the letter X. And the way I like to think about that is when you have a little box, some people make an X to mark the box. So that's why a checkbox is the letter X. So we can press any one of those keys to jump to a specific form field. So if I press E, it would jump to the next edit box. If I press the letter A, it would jump to the next radio button. Now, in this case, maybe it's the first time we're on this page and we have no idea what is the next form field. We don't know if it's a radio button or not, or an edit box or not. So we can press the letter F as in Frank or F as in form field, and that will take us to the first form field no matter what type it is. So I'm going to press the letter F, and you will see that we will jump right to the first name edit box. I'm going to press F.
Jump to line dialog. Enter line number left paren 1 to 56 right paren colon. Enter line number left paren 1 to 50. F. Escape.
Say that again, Jerry?
Were you just to check? We're using JAWS for this, right?
Yes, JAWS. Yeah. Using JAWS, but these are not JAWS specific keystrokes. These are universal keystrokes. So whichever screen reader you like, it will give you that information. Now, I jumped to this. I'm going to slow down the speed.
Slower.
I'll do that again.
The web track sample called track.
I'm going to jump, press the letter F. I'm going to jump. And what you're going to hear, it's going to announce a couple things. First, it's going to announce the label. What is this form field? It's going to say that it's first name required. The second thing it announces is it tells you what
Eldon and Barbara has left the meeting.
It'll tell you that it's an edit box.
Now unmuted.
The third thing it will
Eldon
tell
and
you
Barbara
is what is the current value.
Peter C.
of
Atkins
this
has
form
left.
field. So it'll tell you that it's blank. And then the fourth thing is it usually tells you the status. In the case of an edit box, if it doesn't say anything, it means you are not ready to start typing. And we'll show you when you're ready to type what it says. So try to listen for at least those first three things: the label, the type of form field, and what the current value is. Should here first name required, that's the label. Edit, that's the type of form field, it's an edit box. The third thing is it'll say blank because there's nothing in the field right now. So here we go. And press letter F.
Contact information group. First name. This is a required field. Edit. Blank.
Okay. So you heard first name required field, edit, blank. Now, since it did not give us the status, I know that I am not actually ready to start typing into this field yet. And this is where a lot of people get very frustrated.
David Devon has joined the meeting.
Is that they get to this point and they like, oh great, let me start typing my name, and they
Andrew
start typing Aaron, Aaron. But since I'm not in the box, the A will type A, it'll go to the next radio button. So I need to be sure that I am in the field to actually edit it. And I will know this because the fourth thing should say type and text. When it says type and text, I know I'm in the field and I am ready to start typing. So since I'm not in the field yet, I can press spacebar to enter the field. So I'm going to press spacebar right now, and you're going to hear a click noise. It's going to repeat the label. It's going to repeat what type of form field it is and edit. It's going to say it's blank, but then it's going to say type and text, which means I'm ready to start typing. So let's listen for that.
Space. The web track sample called tracking system. Contact information group. First name. This is a required field. Edit. Blank. Type in text. Has pop-up.
All right, so it said type and text, which lets me know that I can start typing. You might have heard also it says has pop-up. If you filled out the form field before, it might, the pop-up has suggestions, like maybe you want to use, we see that Aaron has been filled out before for our first name.
Jones iPad 4 has left the meeting.
We are not going to deal with those right now. We're going to show you the long way of as if it's the first time. So I'm going to type in my name.
Aaron.
And once you type in your name, to lock in your answer on any form field, you press tab to move away from it and lock in your choice. So I'm going to press tab.
Middle edit. Blank. Middle initial. Type in text.
Okay, so now it tells me middle initial. You heard it say type in text, which means I am ready to be typing into this field. I'm going to type my middle initial.
M.
And then I can press tab again to lock that in.
Last name. This is a required field. Edit. Blank. Type in text. Has pop-up.
Okay, so again, always announces, every form field announces four things: the label, the type, what's the current value, and what is the status. So we're now on last name. It's an edit field. It's blank. Type in text, which means I can type my last name. So I'm going to do that.
SPELKER.
All right. And I press tab to lock that in.
Area code edit. Blank. Type
Okay.
in text.
So this is area code. So now we're doing phone number. This is another one that's a little tricky sometimes for people. in that, as I told you, every time you engage with a form field, when you want to lock in your answer, you press tab to move on to the next form field. This one you heard, it's area code, which is the first 3 digits of my phone number. And since whoever coded this form knows that it's looking for a 3-digit number, soon as I type in a 3-digit number, it will actually automatically move me to the next field without me having to press tab. So some people get confused.
Shalom has joined the meeting.
508, and then they press tab.
Sarah
and it
Munger has left the meeting.
a whole form field. So we're going to press 508, and you'll hear, without me pressing tab, it's going to move on to the next part of my phone number.
508. Prefix edit. Blank.
Right.
Type in text.
Now, once my prefix, I'll type that in.
320. Number edit. Blank. Type in text.
Now, once my number, which again, it moved all on its own without me having to press tab in this case.
1564. Email address star edit. Blank. This is a required field. Type in text. Has pop up.
Right now, once my email, again, another edit box. So we have all these edit boxes to start. We will see the other ones soon enough. Again, as I type in my email address, I'll just type in my old one.
ACPELKER at VERIZON.NET.
Now, I got my email. You notice it didn't move on because, you know, everybody's email length is different. So once I'm done, in this case, I do have to press tab to lock that in and move on. And I'm going to press tab to do that.
The WebTrack sample call tracking system. Mailing address button. To activate, press enter.
Okay, now this is a button. There's a couple different buttons in this particular web form. If I actually try to press this button, it's actually going to say, this is not a live form. This button doesn't work. So we're not going to bother to do that. But this button, if I did press it, in theory, it would pull up another little form where I get to type in my mailing address, you know, street and city and state and zip code. But if I did try press enter, it's just going to give me an error code that this button doesn't work because this is not a live form. So I'm going to skip the button.
Billing address button. To activate, press enter.
There's a billing address, you know, same thing. There would be a little checkbox to say same as mailing address, or, you know, fill out a different billing address. Again, I'm not going to press this button because the buttons don't work on this practice web form.
Account information group. Order number edit. 357. Type in text.
Okay, so now we got to another edit box. It's the order number, but this time it did not say blank. It said 356 because, again, somebody called in. The system automatically generated an order number. You know, you were number 356, or the person who called in was number 356. The next person who calls in is number 357, then 358. So I now am aware that, hey, I don't need to type anything in here. There is already a value 356. And I knew that because it said order number, which is the label. It said edit, which is the form field. It said
Laura S. has
Laura
joined the
has
meeting.
which is the value. And it said type in text, which means I could type over it if I want, but I'm not going to because that's the right answer. So don't want to make any changes. I'll just press tab to move on.
Account number edit. 2468. Type in text.
Okay, so same here. The 2,468 is already in here. Why did it do that? Because, you know, I put in my name and my phone number. It looked up my account number and it pre-populated it as 2,468. You know, you're able to do that when you have some of these databases. You know, it might pre-populate some information for you based off of previous answers or looking you up. Again, I'm not going to change my account number. I'm going to leave that the same. So I'm going to press tab to move on.
Ordered products group. JAWS registered checkbox not checked. To check, press spacebar.
Okay, now we've got into something different. This is product. It said it was a checkbox, and it says JAWS not checked. So the 4 pieces again are product is the label. What type of form field is it? It's a checkbox. So now I know I need to press spacebar to check and uncheck things. The current one I'm on is the JAWS product, and then it said it was not checked. So if I want to say that I had, you know, the JAWS product is something that I was calling in about, I just press spacebar and you'll hear that it'll say that it is checked.
Space. Checked.
Okay. And then this is a list. I will down arrow through the list to see which things I want to check and uncheck. So maybe I'll check JAWS and, you know, Zoom text when I get there.
Fusion checkbox not checked.
All right. So Fusion, I didn't call in about Fusion, so I'm not going to check it.
Zoom text checkbox not checked.
No, Zoom text. Okay. That is a product. They were calling about JAWS and Zoom text. So I'm going to press spacebar on this one as well.
Space. Zoom text checkbox checked.
All
To
right.
clear checkmark, press group and ordered products.
Okay, and then I down arrowed after Zoom text, and if you heard it, it said group end products, which lets me know that is the end of the list of things that I can check or uncheck in this list of checkboxes. So I know I have seen all of the available choices, and I've checked the ones that have applied, which ensures that I didn't miss anything or filling out anything. So now that I'm at the end of the list, I'll press Tab to move on to the next form field.
Product left parenthesis right paren warranty group. Yes radio button checked. 1 of 2. To change the selection, press up or down arrow.
Okay, so this one, what is the label? It's in warranty. It said it was a radio button. That's the type of form field. So that, again, as I mentioned early on, that gives you a series of choices, and you can only pick one of them. It said yes, checked, 1 of 2. So right now, yes is checked. There's 2 available choices. Yes is one of them. And if I down arrow, it's going to say no. And it's then going to say no is checked. So let's down arrow.
No radio button checked. 2 of 2. To change the selection, press up or down arrow.
So just by down arrowing to the other choice, no, it automatically checked it because I can only choose one thing, yes or no. So just by moving to it, I check it. So I move up, you'll hear it'll say yes, it's checked.
Yes radio button checked. 1 of 2.
Okay.
To change the selection, press up or down arrow.
So you arrow to whichever one in a radio button that you want. If there's just 2, you just arrow between the 2 choices. There might be 5 choices, there might be 10 choices, but a radio button, you can only choose one of those available options. I'm going to choose no in this case. I'll down arrow.
No radio button checked. 2 of 2. To change the
again-
selection, press up or down arrow.
And again, to lock that in, I press tab. So I'm going to press tab to lock in no.
Current call group. Action taken combo box. Hardware issue. To change the selection, use the arrow keys.
Okay. So this is the action taken was the label. It said it was a combo box. It said hardware issue. And that was what was checked.
Laureus has left the meeting.
So if we want to make a different choice of a combo box, as I said, a combo box is a list of available options. I press Alt down arrow to enter that list.
Open list box. Expanded. List. With 5 items. Hardware issue. To move to an item, press the arrow keys.
Okay, and you heard that there was 1 of 5 options. Hardware issue is the first of those 5 options. Told me to down arrow to make my selection. So I'm going to down arrow to software issue.
Software issue. To move to an item, press the arrow keys.
Okay, and once you find whichever one you want, and I just decided that the second one, software issue, is what this person's calling in about. Again, to lock in that answer, I just press tab to move away from that form field and move on to the next form field. And whichever choice I'm on is the one that's going to get locked in. So I'm going to press tab to lock in software issue.
Action taken combo box. Software issue.
Okay, and so you hear it got locked in as software issue. So I'm going to press tab again.
Customer inquiry extended select list box. To move to items, use the arrow keys.
Okay, so again, another list box. So we're going to, this is like, what does the client want us to do about this? So I'm going to, again, enter this list with Alt down arrow.
Customer inquiry extended select list box. Product purchase. 1 of 5. To move to an item, press the arrow keys.
Again, we have 5 issues. I'm going to down arrow to repair as they want us to repair this issue.
Product return. 2 of product repair. 3 of 5.
Okay, so product repair is the third of 5 available choices. Again, I want to lock that in. I press tab to lock it in.
Notes edit. Contains text. Type in text.
Okay, now I press tab and it took me to note. So this is where I could write a note saying customer called in. They had issues with their product of JAWS and Zoom text. They asked me to repair it. I took certain actions and I repaired it. In this particular sample, they already have kind of a comment.
Laureus has joined the meeting.
We'll hear it in a second.
iPhone left.
It talks about the person was trying to record and they were recording in fast forward. So they showed them how to change their settings. So there's something to kind of already in here, which we can hear, I guess, if I up arrow down.
Recording in fast forward.
Yeah.
I showed him how to change the setting grammar back and end grammar showed him where to find related directions in the user's guide.
All right, so there was already a comment written in there. I don't know why for this sample they already put in something in there, but they did. Usually this is where you would type in, whatever issue the client had. We normally start as a blank notes form. But once you type in, let's just say this was the note that I wanted to type in. Once I want to lock that in, again, type in your message, lock it in, you press tab. So I'm going to press tab.
Notes history button. To activate, press enter.
Okay, so this is another button. It's the notes history button. Again, I could press enter on this. In theory, it would show me a list of all the other customer service people, who've interacted with this client and, how they've helped him over time. And you could kind of review the notes, when customer service people put you on hold and say, let me review the notes. This is basically where they're going. They're looking at the previous notes other customer service people have put in. Again, if I try to press this button in this example, it's going to say, this isn't a live form. This button doesn't work, so we're not going to actually press it in this case. Let's press tab again.
An order button. To activate, press enter.
Okay, if I needed to place a new order, I would press this button and get into a new order form. Again, the buttons don't work on this, so we're going to skip it.
Receive marketing promotions by group. Phone checkbox not checked. To check, press spacebar.
Okay, and this is received promotional material. That's the label. It's a checkbox. We're on phone, and it's not checked. So again, those are the 4 pieces of information: label, type of form field, current value, status. What's interesting here, again, is another checkbox list, so we can down arrow and check and uncheck, but you should never assume that everything is checked or unchecked. You do want to listen, because if I said I want to be contacted by phone and mail only, and I wanted to go through this list, so let's listen for
Read
phone.
that phone checkbox not checked.
The phone wasn't checked. I'm going to press spacebar to check it,
Space checked.
and then I'm going to down arrow to the next choice.
E-mail checkbox checked.
Right? Email was already checked. I don't want to be contacted by email. So you do want to just not breeze through things really quick. You do want to listen to each item and what is its status. Email was already checked. I want to uncheck that.
Space. E-mail checkbox checked.
Okay,
To clear
and,
check mark, press spacebar. Not
So you've
checked.
faced web forms before where, they automatically check the please send me promotional material, and they check it for you, even though you don't want that. So you do want to listen to these check boxes and see what is checked and what is not checked. Then down arrow again.
Mail checkbox not checked.
I did want to receive things by phone and mail, so I'm going to check this one.
Space. Mail checkbox checked. To
Let's see
clear
what the
check
next
mark,
one
press
is.
spacebar. Company newsletter checkbox not checked.
All right, I don't want the company newsletter, so let's see if there's any more choices.
Group and receive marketing promotions by.
Okay, and then you heard it say group end. The end of this group, there is nothing more to check here, so I know that I've checked all of the items, which is good. So I'm going to press tab to move on.
Submit button. To activate, press enter.
And now I'm at the submit button, which is the very last thing in this form field. So now I've completed this whole form field. Now, the other thing that people sometimes struggle with is like, well, did I fill out everything right? I kind of want to review it. And sometimes what they do is they go all the way through the form again. And I think that's a little dangerous, because you might accidentally uncheck or move, change a choice from yes to no that you didn't mean to do. So it's a little dangerous to actually go through the form again, like I just did. But there is a nice keystroke that will allow us to see each form field and what answer I put in. And that is the insert F5 key. So I'm going to press insert F5 right now. It'll say form fields list.
Select a form field dialog. List 1 list view. Submit button. 26 of 26. To move
Okay.
2 items, use the arrow keys.
So I'm at the bottom of the list because I was on the submit button. So it pulled up the list, but it's telling me I'm on number 26 of 26. I'm just going to hit Control and the home key to jump to the top of the list.
Contact information, first name. This is a required field. Edit Aaron, 1 of 26. Top of file. Contact information, first name. This is a required field. Edit Aaron, 1 of 26.
Okay, so if you heard it, first name, it's an edit field, Aaron. So it told me what I put in there, and then it told me this is number 1 of 26 form fields. So I can breeze through this really quick and see all my answers.
Contact information, middle edit M, 2 of 26.
The middle M.
Contact information, last name. This is a required field. Edit Spelker, 3 of. Contact information, area code, edit 508, 4 of 26. Contact information, prefix, edit 320, 5 of. Contact information, number, edit 1564, 6 of 26.
And so as I go through this, I'll just breeze through it real quick just so you can see, but I'm looking for 2 things. One is whatever I typed correct, did I mess up my phone number, or is there something that's blank that I accidentally somehow skipped over and actually didn't fill it out? I'm sure you've, hit submit on a form and it doesn't actually take it. And it might be because you missed filling out a piece of the information. So this is, again, a nice way to see, oh, look, I'm on phone number and it's blank. I forgot to fill out the phone number. So I guess I got to go in and fill that out and then try doing the submit button. So we'll just keep going.
Contact information e-mail address star edit aspelker@verizon.net, 7 of 26.
Okay, and let's say this is the wrong email or some wrong answer on any of the form fields. You can then just press enter on the one that you think you filled out incorrectly. So right now, let's say this was my wrong email address. I'll press enter.
Enter. To activate, press enter. Contact information group. Contact information group, e-mail address star edit, aspelker@verizon.net. This is a required field. Type in text, e-mail address star edit,
Only type in
aspelker at
text, so I'm
Verizon.
in the field, and it wasn't verizon.net, let's say it was gmail.com. So I'm gonna fix that up here.
Net, selected, period. Verizon, selected.
And I'll type that over with
Gmail, period. O-M.
and then to lock that in, press tab.
Mailing address button. To activate, press enter.
Then I can go back to insert F5 to continue reviewing the list.
Select a form field dialog. List 1 list view. Contact information mailing address button. 8 of 26. To move to items, use the arrow
And
keys.
I'll up arrow just to listen to that email, make sure it took gmail.com instead of verizon.net.
Contact information e-mail address star edit aspelker@gmail.com. 7 of 26.
Great, that's all fixed up. And again, I can just peruse through these answers real quick.
Contact information mailing address button. 8. Contact information billing address button. 9 of 26.
Buttons don't have any answers in them because they're just buttons.
Account information order number edit 357. 10 of 26. Account information account number edit 2468. 11 of 26. Ordered products draws registered checkbox checked. 12 of 26.
JAWS was checked.
Ordered products fusion checkbox not checked. 13 of
Fusion not
26.
checked.
Ordered products Zoom text checkbox checked. 14 of 26.
Zoom checked again. So again, that's exactly what I wanted.
Product left parentis right paren warranty yes radio button not checked. 15 of 26.
Okay, so it said warranty, yes, not checked. Again, I switched it to no, so it should say no checked,
Product left parentis right paren warranty no radio button checked. 16 of 26.
which it does, which is great. And we'll keep going.
Current call action taken combo box software issue. 17 of 26.
That's what I picked, software issue. Then I wanted a repair.
Current call customer inquiry list box. 18 of 26. Current call node set it the customer changed to set it. Current call customer inquiry list box. 18 of 26.
Okay, so there's the thing. It did not say repair. So did I accidentally not select repair? Let's just go check and make sure there's not an issue there.
Enter. To activate, press enter. Current call group. Current call group. Customer inquiry extended select list box. Customer inquiry list box item. Product repair. 3 of 5. Customer inquiry list box item. Product repair. 3 of
All right,
5.
that's interesting. I haven't run into that before, but it has the right answer, product repair. But for some reason in that insert F5, it did not say repair, at least as far as I heard. But I double checked it to make sure that it was by pressing enter on it and seeing it does say product repair. So that was the choice I wanted. So I'll go back to insert F5 to continue looking.
Select a form field dialog. List 1 list view. Contact information first name. This is a required field. Edit Aaron. 1 of 20. Contact information middle edit M. 2 of 20.
So I'll just stop. I'm gonna go back to the
Current call action taken combo box. Current call customer inquiry list box. 18 of 20. Current call node set it the customer changed a setting and was recording in fast forward. I showed him how to change the setting back and showed him where to find related directions in the user's guide. 19 of 26.
So there on the notes, it read me the entire note that was in there. Again, I don't. They already kind of pre-populated that for some reason. I don't know why, but that's the note that was in there.
Current call notes history button. 20 of 26.
Button, and then we're going to see quickly that phone and mail are checked, email not checked.
Current call new order button. 20. Receive marketing promotions by phone checkbox checked. Receive marketing promotions by e-mail checkbox not checked. 23 of 20. Receive marketing promotions by mail checkbox checked. 24 of 20. Receive marketing promotions by company newsletter checkbox not checked. 25 of 26.
And then 26 of 26 is our submit button.
Submit button. 26 of
And
26.
Now that I reviewed the whole thing and fixed any problems that I saw, I can press enter on the submit button to jump to the website or the web page to where the button is. So I'm going to press enter.
Enter. Submit button. To activate,
And-
press enter. Submit button.
So that just moved me to the submit button. I haven't pressed it yet. I would need to press enter now to actually hit the submit button. Although if I hit it now again, it would say this isn't a live form. We can't actually submit this. But so that is, going and filling out a web form. Again, really important to listen to those 4 pieces of information. What is the label, which informs you, what answer are you trying to complete on this web form? What type of form field is it? Is it an edit box, a radio button, a checkbox, a combo box? because that informs you how to interact with it, whether you're typing something in, whether you're up arrowing, down arrowing to switch the radio button, whether you need to enter a list with alt down arrow, whether you need to press spacebar to check a box. So listening to what type of form field you are at will inform you how to actually complete that web form. The third thing is what is the current value? Again, blank if it's an edit box, but also, if it's phone checked or not checked, for example. And then the last thing is its status. So is it something that's checked or not checked? Is it type in text, which means I'm ready to start typing? It gives you that information of where are you in this piece of information to know how to do the next action. Again, when you're all done, insert F5 brings you to the form fields list, which will include all of the answers that you've put in on all of those different form fields. So it's a nice way to review, see any mistakes, easily correct those mistakes without impacting any other part of the form. And then when you're done, get to the submit button or the next button or whatever completes the
For more information, contact Jerry Feliz, Access Technology Director, phone number 857-443-6636, email jfeliz@mapcommunity.org. Thank you so much for watching.